or when you have those accents. I mean, you speak like that every time, so I think we are going to start the streaming right now.
Okay.
So I'm
Let's go.
going to change to Spanish just for this moment.
No problem at all.
No problem.
Bienvenidas y bienvenidos, cultistas. Hoy tenemos nuestro programa piloto de la Shining Icosahedron Great Order. Tenemos de invitados a Nana y Fontico de Abismo Dados, no sé si lo dije bien, y a nuestra nueva presentadora, la acólita Foborobos, que nos estará ayudando con la entrevista el día de hoy, con estos chicos que vienen de Brasil, y es quien llevará la entrevista principalmente. Les comento, estaremos switchando entre español, inglés y portugués. Esperemos que este proyecto salga bien. Ahora le paso el programa a Fobo y bienvenidos.
Bom,
Gracias.
como ela falou, bem-vindos, bem-vindas, cultistas. Hoje nossos convidados são a Nana e o Fontônico. Eles são do canal do Twitch e seus redes também têm o nome de Abismo dos Dados, né?
Isso.
Exatamente.
Então, bom, Mara já falou, eles são do Brasil, mas de onde são vocês?
Vai, Nana, primeiro.
Eu
Vai
sou
lá.
de São
Inaugura.
Paulo, do Brasil, da região sudeste. Muita gente já ouviu falar do São Paulo, né? Onde tem várias torres, vários prédios estranhos e algumas praias um pouco mais afastadas do estado, mas eu estou na capital de São Paulo.
E você,
Já
Tônico?
eu sou do Rio Grande do Sul, a parte sul do Brasil, e eu moro numa cidade que ninguém nunca ouviu falar, mas ela existe. Eu garanto, eu tô aqui. Eu existo nela.
Você é a prova.
Aham, eu moro em Alegrete. É uma cidade que tem uma música, inclusive, que ela é relativamente famosa no Brasil, que é Não Me Pergunte Onde Fica o Alegrete. Dá pra vocês procurarem depois. Todo o país conhece essa música, mas ninguém conhece a cidade. Então é maravilhoso.
É muito
Genial.
assim. É muito boa a música. É excelente.
Nós temos que escutar, né?
O título é com aquela
Preciso.
certeza, assim, do Não Me Pergunte, como se todo mundo soubesse onde Alegrete fica, mas ninguém sabe. É muito irônico, é muito bom.
E de onde é o abismo? O que vocês fazem com o abismo dos dados?
O Abismo,
Excelente.
ele surgiu principalmente da ideia da gente mostrar que existem vários jeitos de jogar RPG. Porque o RPG per se, as pessoas elas acham que tem uma receita. Você joga e interpreta desse jeito e isso é o jeito certo de você jogar. Aqui no Brasil tem muito debate sobre a interpretação no RPG. Tem gente que acha que você não pode narrar um jogo em terceira pessoa, né? Quando você vai fazer a sua ação. Então, a personagem A vai fazer tal coisa. Tem muita crítica a isso. Tem gente que gosta da pessoa falar, eu vou fazer tal ação.
Verdade.
Existe, é incrível. Tem essa briga que eu não sei de onde veio, mas existe. E a gente veio com essa ideia do vamos jogar como pessoas que gostam do jogo, que não vão se fantasiar, que não vão fazer uma superprodução, porque quando você joga em casa, dificilmente você vai pegar um adereço e vai. Às vezes você tá lá, bora jogar essa história, e você joga. E ela é legal, ela é memorável, porque as pessoas se divertiram. E a gente tá numa onda de superproduções de RPG, que acontece. Eu não sei como tá a cena no México, mas no Brasil tá acontecendo muito daquela mistura com o Critical Role, né?
Sim, também. É igual aqui no México.
Yeah.
É. E aí, assim, se você não tem aquela mesa de som, aquela animação, aquela abertura, acontece muito do... é muito básico. E a gente gosta de trazer o lance do RPG de casa, que você joga com os amigos, que você no meio do jogo dá uma risada, brinca, porque isso não tira exatamente o peso da história, mas ele
Sim.
dá aquela quebra para você continuar jogando, se divertir e vir dividir uma informação, uma opinião com o amiguinho do lado, né? Então a gente começou com essa ideia de jogar o que a gente gosta, de um jeito que a gente acha que é ok, e que alguém que vá começar no hobby, ele não vai ter medo, né? Porque se você vai com roupa, lente de contato, se você pega e coloca cenário junto, e você faz um monte de coisa, e você atua como se fosse sair de Hollywood, a pessoa que está começando, ela vai ter medo.
Claro.
Ela vai olhar e falar, eu não sou ator ou atriz, né?
Coloca
não
muita
sou-
pressão no iniciante.
Bota. Eu comecei a jogar em 2016, finalzinho pra 2017. Então eu tinha esse medo do, nossa, será que eu vou ter que fazer vozes? E aí a pessoa que narrava falava, não, só joga, depois você descobre se você vai fazer isso na sua vida. E aí eu fui jogando. Mas todo mundo tem esse medo do, pô, mas o RPG precisa saber atuar. O RPG precisa saber fazer personagem. Tipo, atuação, né, no caso. Eu ia falar impersonation. Já viu o inglês no do puf, caindo junto.
Estamos
Precisa
começando a
fazer...
mistura.
Começou, agora vai.
Yes.
E você precisa saber esse nível, você precisa ter o dinheiro para. Porque assim, roupa e adereço custa muito. Né? Se você já não tem isso, você vai ter que investir. E isso é muito legal para LARP, por exemplo. Eu não sei qual que é o termo que vocês usam, acho que é LARP
Igual.
também, né?
Sim,
É,
olhar.
LARP é todo mundo. Então, para um LARP faz sentido, porque você tá lá fazendo um teatro. Mas na sua casa, só vai, sabe? E a gente tenta trazer isso pro Abismo, por isso que surgiu o lance de ter uma mesa suave, com uma galera se divertindo, e mostrar também que o terror ele pode não ser traumático. Que o nosso foco
Ah,
básico é terror, né?
sim.
A gente gosta de terror. E muita gente fala assim, por exemplo, cult. Eu não jogo cult porque ele é horrível. Eu vou sair assustada, eu vou ter pesadelo. E não, você pode fazer um jogo de cult que não seja aterrorizante. Você pode fazer um jogo que seja misterioso, com suspense, tem um terrorzinho. Mas você pode. Não é todo terror que vai ser um Serbian movie. Ele pode ser um Nightmare on Elm Street, por exemplo. Sabe? Ele pode ser mais leve, cheio com as piadinhas, mas ele tem aquele quê de terror. E é isso que a gente tenta trazer no material.
Você falou que você começou a jogar os jogos de terror no 2016?
2016.
E você, Fontônico, como começou? Como...
Eu sou muito mais velho nessa área do que a Nana. Eu comecei, eu acho que em 97 ou 98. E meu primeiro contato com RPG foi com o livro Werewolf the Apocalypse, que eu,
Uhum.
quando pequeno, eu olhei numa livraria, eu achei, nossa, que coisa bonita. E daí eu peguei o livro e pensei, nossa, ele é um jogo também. Nossa, que legal, eles fazem jogos em livros. Então, eu entrei nisso, como eu li esse livro de cabo a rabo, tipo, de início a fim, eu comecei narrando. Primeiro eu fazia histórias pra mim mesmo, e eu jogava comigo mesmo, tipo, eu criava os personagens, eu jogava os dadinhos ali que eu fazia de papel, e eu ia jogando. E depois eu comecei a encontrar um grupo, comecei a narrar, e desde então eu só fui pra outros RPGs, fui de Dungeons and Dragons. Conheci também um RPG local aqui do Brasil, que é o... Chamam do clone de Dungeons and Dragons, que é o Tormenta, conheci ele. Depois fui pro Vampiro à Máscara, Vampire the Masquerade, Wraith the Oblivion, Call of Cthulhu. E assim eu fui indo. Mas sempre
Então,
RPGzinhos de terror, quase.
sim.
Praticamente.
E você começou então como narrador?
Sim, sim.
You are the
E...
eternal game master?
Mostly, but em Abismo dos Dados, me and Nana, we GM.
Okay.
There's some
More or
games
less.
I GM, there's others that she GMs. She's actually starting on the GM role. So
Hum.
I mainly act as emotional support, that little toy that squeaks the more you press it. That's my job in the channel.
Every time I have any weird idea, I call Fonts and say, you will be my piece of study. Let's try something here. And he, oh, well, let's go.
We mostly go for science. I love science.
Mostly science. There's some time ago that I tried cult with K-pop.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yep. And I asked for Fonts, let me try this, please. But you will play too. That's not negotiable. So I've tried with him, and it was pretty cool, I guess. Weird, but cool.
It was
Weird.
actually really good.
Weird.
It was weird
Always
because of
weird.
thematic, but
Yeah.
I think she actually managed to join both of the settings really well. We have
Wow.
the K-pop industry and how
Mhm.
abusive sometimes they are with their idols.
Yes.
Sometimes their idols go for weeks without eating properly. They
Mhm.
go on a strict diet. They don't have access to their cell phones. They can't call their families. They just stay there enclosed without any contact with the world.
Yeah.
And that's what we lived in the game. It was really interesting to see that sense of desolation and how those expectations that the industry and our fans created on us and
And
how
there
that
was the
pressure
fans
was put.
playing too.
Yeah.
It was the most shocking because the fans were always, I have to buy this, I have to do this till they notice me, and if I buy those things, I'll have the chance. And then the players were in these two opposite sides. It was weird. Again,
It
weird.
sounds weird. So you were both, some players were fans and some players were idols?
Yep,
Yep.
I was one of the idols, and it was really interesting to be on the receiving end of the fans' obsession. It was extremely creepy, I might add, but really interesting. It actually added a layer of terror that I haven't actually personally experienced. And I actually have some problems with social anxiety, and that really got my my fear, my anxiety. But
Right.
actually, like Nana said, not in a bad way. I was really comfortable on the role, but it was interesting to see the fans doing whatever they can to reach us. On an instance, they actually managed to sneak a ladder inside the bus of the idols, and we were just going to an interview on a show, and when we returned, that was this ladder, but under the seat, and we didn't even know who put it there. The windows were
They
sealed, the doors were closed. Any of the security guards, they didn't knew and didn't see that. It just mystically appeared.
they had some items uh, missing from the house, and they didn't know
Oh.
who did it.
Oh.
The window was slightly open. At why? I've closed it a day before, and they,
There was
oh my god, where's my pants? I've lost my pants.
was a little sense of paranoia that was inserted on the narrative. We were enclosed without any contact with the outside world, without aside of our manager, and then the windows were slightly open, like Nana said. Items of us were missing, and no one was seen. We tried staying up late to see who sneaked on our bedroom.
Right.
No sighting.
Uau.
It was
E
really interesting.
vocês têm o vídeo disso?
Ye-
Sim,
Porque
Yes,
eu sei que vocês têm principalmente o Twitch, né? Mas também tem os vídeos, as gravações no YouTube.
sim.
nosso repositório é o YouTube, nós trocamos novamente de idioma, fantástico.
Ah, a gente vai indo.
Soon.
É,
Someone.
o
Se permitirem,
nosso
eu
YouTube
posso.
a gente sempre deixa tudo que é mais antigo, sempre, para não
Ok.
perder exatamente, para ficar sempre registrado.
Sim.
There's a
Uh,
question in the chat. Someone wants to know what kind of skills had the fans and the idols in the Cake Ult game.
There was something around perceiving things, having allies. It was the most humane as possible.
the idols part, right?
Yep.
We were
But
the most humane. We didn't have any supernatural powers aside from our looks and our backgrounds. Well,
yep.
most of the characters they were raised as rich. They they were from wealthy families on Korea. My character, he was bred to be the perfect idol because his dad was an idol.
True.
So he was trying to genetically create the perfect idol, the one who carried the torch of the
Oh.
family, and be his
Wow.
sprite. Yep, he went to marriage the perfect person with the perfect genetics to create the perfect song.
Yep. But the fans wasn't supernatural too. All of them started as humans that went through a lot of difficulties, a lot of fears, a lot of broken realities, and then they started to see what was there, right in front of their eyes, missing in the other reality,
The veil was lifted.
through the veil. Yep. So when everything got broken, they saw the real thing. One of the players said, "What's that smell? I want to smell this better. Let me smell this." And he failed. He failed so badly.
Oh.
So, oh my god, that everything fall apart. He saw it was in Metropolis, right?
We were plunged right into the heart of Metropolis. It was
Yep.
not an endearing experience at all.
They saw big buildings, weird things flying in the sky, screams at the end of the street, shadows lurking. So, angels, creepy angels, not the good ones, but the creepy ones
The feral
staring at
kind.
Okay.
them.
Oh.
Yeah.
The kind where they regressed completely of their angelic nature and they were feral. They were creepy. And there was a giant thing haunting us. I remember that. We didn't knew there
It
was a
was
giant creature.
nothing. It was
No.
nothing. It was just there.
It was as tall as a skyscraper. That
Wow.
thing was giant.
They they see you guys as a cute little thing to kill and smash it.
But always
Small little
hunting you.
toy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a
It's a
toy of a
toy. I need
giant
to
creature.
break it. Let me break
No,
it. Yep.
no.
You were the miniatures for that giant. The
Yep.
same way
Yep,
we have
and
the
I
miniatures.
I didn't want him to play with me. That wasn't healthy.
So mean.
Entonces,
But
usted está comenzando como, desculpe, you are starting as a game master, right? And you
Yes.
created that one. Uh, and which is your favorite? Actually, for both of you is the question. Which one do you prefer? To be like a game master or to play?
Play.
Both.
I actually like both roles. GM is kind of where I'm more comfortable with because I had the most time and most experience as a GM. And because I have so many ideas that they just flow out of my mind into the game. And as a player, I also like because I get to experience the other side and to flesh out characters with the help of the GM. That's one of
True.
the best transactions, best exchanges of the hobby. When both you, the GM and the player, they start a character, they start a story, and they flesh out the all of the little things that make up for the story of the character. That's why on the Abismo dos Dados, I like to say that this story is not mine, even when I GM. It's ours.
Yeah.
We,
Right.
the players and the GM, we created it. There is no one controlling all the story like a giant mastermind that's like a god on the world. No, we create the story. The goal is for everyone to have fun.
Yeah. I really like to play because it has less responsibility. Because when you play, you have only one character with a improvised plan. But when you GM, you had a lot of NPCs, you had a lot of plans running behind the curtains, and the players acting. And the players can be a pain in that place. You know. Players can be. I am that kind of player. I do a lot of crazy stuff, and I always think he really hates me every time I do one bad thing. Because
Uh,
I do a lot of crazy plans.
she does, but I don't
It
hate her.
does.
The most crazy thing she ever done on any game I ran. She is actually the type of player I like to call a Pokemon master player. When she sees an NPC she likes, she just throws a Pokeball. Even though I planned that NPC to be one person that just appears on that scene
And that's
specifically,
it. Uh-huh.
it doesn't even have a name. I haven't even thought the name specifically. She just goes there and starts empathizing with the NPC, and I have to flesh out the backstory. I have to put emotions, a sense of purpose, and that's actually interesting because even though it's crazy, I didn't plan for that. It creates some unique NPCs and actually some really, really interesting backstories and side quests.
It's a challenge for you as the game master.
Yes, that's why I'm always have a name generator tab opened on my on my browser. That was a custom I actually acquired with the channel.
Acho que eu sou assim como você, Nana. Eu também faço isso muito. Sempre quero saber mais dos personagens que não são importantes. Pode
Pra
Yeah.
você
perguntar,
ter
Mara.
ideia, eu tive assim, rapidinho, eu tive uma personagem que ela usou aqueles aplicativos de encontro pra poder se alimentar, porque é vampira, né?
Aham.
Ela conheceu a menina dela. Eu gostei dessa moça. Começou a namorar a menina 3 dias depois, sabe? Tipo, ah! E ele assim, ok, ela veio criar a história desse personagem também. Foi assim, eu sou assim, eu não consigo. Me dá uma coisa fofa, eu quero aquilo. Eu sou uma feliz.
Sim.
Eu sou assim, não tem jeito.
E isso não é um problema. Eu acho bem interessante sempre jogadores assim. Não vejam o que eu falei como uma crítica. Don't see what I said as a critic. I really like players like that. Because they mainly show interest in the world
Yeah.
you're creating.
That's
And
true.
it's something that's really, really, really endearing. When you GM and you see a player so hooked on that world that they just want to explore, question, and just talk to any person they see, it's really good. It's a great sensation,
Yeah,
great
and
feeling.
it's a challenge for the GM too because you have to describe a lot of things that maybe you don't have to in your plans.
Yes, 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 yes. There was actually a Facebook page that Nana showed me because we ran mostly games on New York. I chose that city because it's the Great Apple and it has a meaning that's actually biblical and it appears on many paintings.
Yeah.
And on our chronicle, we play mainly WoD, World of Darkness. On our chronicle, the Second Inquisition happened. The vampires have nowhere to go, and they see New York City as their new Eden, their new promised land. And they're actually, aside Camarilla and Sabah, there's actually an Infernalist group also seeing New York as their Eden.
Okay.
So she showed me a Facebook page where New Yorkers, common New Yorkers, they're interviewed by a journalist and they talk about their past life, their past, their goals, their enterprises, and they're all really good, really good, interesting stories. They interview someone who's a hot dog vendor, uh, any people. But there was one story that's actually caught my attention. That was a homeless person. That he was a military veteran, and he received no support from the government. He was
Oh.
just tossed aside and had to live on his own car for 2 or 3 years. And that person, Nana, actually adopted him and gave him a home and a chance to really have a job and get on
Guilty!
his feet again.
I
Yeah.
I really love how you're telling this story and it's very serious because what you're describing it's a reality and it's
It's
very
a reality.
common. And then I see Nana's big smile when you say the person that she adopted.
Oh, he's so sweet. And We try to bring the real things in the game to make questions about it.
Yeah.
We are having a lot of things happen in the world that went bad.
Yeah.
A lot of political stuff that it's really awful. Here in Brazil, we're facing a lot of trouble. So we try to use RPG to make these questions and show you can do some difference in the other's reality. But you can't change the world at all. The world still mean, and you can do your part and change what you can to make your life and others better. But the world's still the world, you know. It's a lot of bad things, and I don't like it. So in RPG, I try to, oh, I need to save this person. I'm a vampire. I don't need the money. So
It's true.
Pokeball.
Yeah.
Pokeball.
It's
It's
actually
everything.
interesting
Pokeball.
that even though she's a vampire and technically she's a monster, she has that beast craving for blood on the back of her head, just saying, go, kill, devour. And she tries her best to not be that. And I think it's a good lesson because even though we grew on different backgrounds, we had shitty lives, we had shitty jobs, there's a little that thin line that we can cross. And some people prefer not to. They just go on with their lives, they start doing good things and never go back down. I find that really, really interesting. And it really makes you think, like Nana said. Our games, we do that type of philosophy questioning, I think it is. Philosophical questioning.
Yeah.
I butchered the English a little. I'm sorry.
Não tem problema. Pode também falar em português. Or we can continue in English. It's okay.
Yeah.
When you were saying about the other game, the one with the idols, I remember that I saw on your YouTube channel a presentation or kind of an interview that you made for Cult, like the new
Yeah.
edition, I believe.
It was
It
made
was
to a trailer. It's almost a trailer.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
trailer.
I saw you have some interviews with creators of games. Por
We
exemplo,
had
Muito Embaixo do
Do Oceano.
Oceano.
Oceano. Sim. That's a Brazilian game that's really interesting.
Oh, just
And
Brazilian people. Sorry.
they were Brazilian people.
Creator.
Yes.
Okay.
Brazilian creator. It's a
Brazilian
Brazilian made game.
Okay.
It was really interesting. We help the local scene. We do
Mhm.
some collaborations. We do some interviews. We lend sometimes to creators to talk about their systems, the games they're
Oh.
working on. And Muito Abaixo do Oceano, that's deep below the ocean, translating the title. I don't know if the title is going to be translated or published overseas, but that's it. It's a really interesting game that talks about an Earth that was ravaged by seismic events, and humanity needs to go and live under the sea. It goes like that Julio Verne vibe. We have the Thousand Submarine Leagues. I think is the
Mhm.
name, correct name of the book. It also has a lot of features like Napoleon Bonaparte is actually alive on the system, and he started vanguarding the steampunk technology.
Mhm.
He built an engine to cheat death itself and become the immortal emperor of the French Empire underseas. There are some lores that they flirt with weird science and believable science. One of the goals of the system is not to look magic. They have a scientific explanation for everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really interesting combination of ideas.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Então, vocês têm assim, às vezes tem as entrevistas, tem seus jogos, porque eu vi que vocês têm quase todos os dias, né? E também tem um
3
pouco de
dias.
videojogos.
É,
3
são
dias.
3 dias no total. A gente faz a reprise dos nossos RPGs na segunda-feira no YouTube, porque muita
YouTube.
gente acaba perdendo, então não tem como
Sim.
ver e assistir pelo YouTube. terças são gameplays, a gente muda às vezes quando precisa. Sextas RPG e sábados são gameplays. Porque o mercado de RPG, ele ainda é muito fechado, né? Então, assim, você
Sim.
tem muitos pequenos produtores concorrendo entre si, e aí, às vezes, assim, não dá para você mestrar 3 jogos diferentes o tempo inteiro e ainda ter a correria do dia a dia. Então, a gente acaba colocando gameplay para também poder descansar um pouco e conseguir falar mais com o chat. Porque no RPG não dá. Se a gente interrompe muito e fica falando com o chat, perde um pouco a...
Sorry, I have to stop you. We have a commercial. I'm sorry.
No problem.
No problem. No problem.
They're going to give me the cue when the commercial
We go back.
and we go back.
No
I've got
problem.
the commercial here.
Yeah, I think it ends. Yeah, we can start now. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Então, aí a gente, assim, como fica muita coisa pra fazer, a gente acaba fazendo gameplay pra poder descansar e falar com o chat. Porque se a gente
Sim.
joga o RPG e a gente vai falar com o chat, a gente perde um pouco da imersão, né? Da linha de raciocínio e tudo mais.
Sim.
E se vai jogar pro YouTube, tem gente que reclama. Ah, porque fala demais com o chat. Aí você fala, mas o chat tá lá, é uma entidade. A nossa entidade preferida é o chat. Então, com os jogos a gente consegue chamar o chat pra jogar mais fácil. Tipo assim, a gente pausa e bate um papo, conversa mais com o chat.
Sim.
Então, os jogos eles têm essa interatividade melhor, querendo ou não.
O chat ele é o outro jogador da mesa, né, em muitos casos. Então, sempre é interessante tu continuar falando com eles. Mas, como não disse, realmente tem aquele povo do YouTube que ele tende a ser chatinho, eles preferem os jogos perfeitamente editados, eles não querem ver rolagem, e que eu acho um absurdo num jogo de RPG a pessoa não querer ver a rolagem, porque é
Sim.
parte do que tá compondo a história, ao meu ver, sabe?
Sim.
Porque é a chance de sucesso e falha, né? Porque você não consegue arbitrar isso sem uma rolagem, a não ser que você faça um scriptzinho e conte uma novela. Aí vai. Mas como jogo, você tem um elemento rolagem que, por mais que seja legal manter no mínimo, ele é o que fala, ó, não deu certo. Aí já se deu mal.
Claro.
Ou deu certo e
Nada
vai.
contra quem transforma os seus jogos de RPG em novelas,
Sim.
séries e o que for.
É
Mas o
que não é
nosso
a nossa
propósito,
pegada.
nossa pegada é o RPG mesmo. A gente quer ver os dadinhos rolando, a gente quer ver os resultados. E eu acho que o chat quer ver a minha cara enquanto eu penso o que vai acontecer daquele resultado que eu não esperava.
Essa pessoa, desculpe, não lembro do nome do outro jogador. Ele também é parte do Abismo dos Dados? Ou quantas pessoas são no grupo?
Atualmente,
Somos.
o canal só sou eu e o Fontes.
Ok?
Só
Uhum.
somos nós dois.
Somos dois.
Mas a gente tem pessoas que jogam com a gente várias vezes, que geralmente é o João, que é o que tá na mesa de vampiro.
Sim.
A gente tem o Rurone, que às vezes joga com a gente, o Morbius, que tá aí no chat que eu vi também, o Menos também joga às vezes. A gente faz isso. E todo fim de mês a gente tem a mesa de quem é inscrito pra dar aquele agradecimento, né? Tipo, ó, vocês estão dando essa grana pra gente, vocês subem aqui, são padrinhos que apoiam o projeto, então vem jogar. E aí, uma vez por mês, a gente faz a mesa onde entra a galera que apoia.
Ah,
E
Pra
também
poder trazer
porque
mais.
muita gente que apoia e assiste o RPG, eles têm interesse no RPG, pelo menos no Brasil isso acontece bastante, mas eles têm aquele medo de entrar pro RPG. Então a
sim.
gente permite essa ideia, alguns viewers jogarem com a gente pra mostrar assim do RPG não é esse bicho de 7 cabeças, tu pode jogar da maneira que tu quiser. E a mesa dos subs é aquilo, se inscreveu, tá ajudando a gente. Por mais que tu não conheça o sistema, a gente explica todo o sistema de início, faz aquele tutorial basiquinho assim de início, explica direitinho tudo. E garante pra eles uma experiência que é positiva, pelo menos uma primeira experiência com RPG e com o sistema em questão.
Claro.
É
Acho que
interessante.
essa
Eu realmente não sei se no
experiência.
México é desse jeito. Se as pessoas têm muito medo de entrar no RPG.
Tem,
Sim.
tem. É absurdo.
Yeah, they are actually, that's something that has been constant on the interviews with Mara, because she has been doing interviews with Spanish speaking players and creators, and that's something that is constant there. People are afraid to start playing.
Yeah.
There is a problem worldwide, it seems.
Yes. E falando disso, como vocês se conheceram? Porque a gente tem medo, mas como vocês conheceram entre vocês?
RPG.
Então, RPG,
Vampirão
vampiro.
na veia. A
Sim.
gente. A gente jogava RPG, tanto vampiro, ele com uma mesa e eu com outra. E um menino que eu conheci no Facebook também jogava vampiro. E eu peguei, tava com uma vaga na minha mesa, chamei esse menino. Esse menino me apresentou pro Fontes. E aí a gente começou a conversar, porque ele gostava de um clã que eu jogava. E aí eu ficava pedindo assim, nossa, mas e se eu precisar de ajudinha, o que dá pra fazer aqui? E ele ficava, ó, você pode ver tal coisa. Olha, aconteceu tal desafio no jogo. O que eu faço? Aí ele, olha, você pode tentar buscar em tal livro. Então ele me dava dicas. E aí abriu uma vaga, aí eu falei, vem jogar comigo. Aí ele veio. Maldição ou bênção, eu não sei, mas ele veio.
Eu sou
E aí...
ambas.
eu também.
Sempre um pouco de almas.
E aí a gente foi jogando. Ele me apresentou Cthulhu pela primeira vez. Ele falou, não, vamos jogar uma coisa diferente, joga aí, você vai gostar. E ele narrou Cthulhu pra mim. Eu fiz uma freira que brigava com todo mundo porque roubava uns pãozinhos que ela fazia.
A Nana gosta muito do background religioso.
É porque eu gosto da... Eu não sei, eu espero não ofender ninguém, mas eu gosto da parte mais mística, sabe? Do folclore. Porque eu acho que, assim, você tem, assim, os folclores locais, né? E querendo ou não, a religião, ela tem um folclore próprio, né? As entidades e tudo mais.
Certo. Sim.
Então, e aí eu gosto disso. Eu curto pensar nisso e misturar com coisas locais e outros tipos de histórias pra juntar. E aí ele falou, vamos fazer um convento aí que deu ruim. Um convento que deu ruim, pode ser bom. Deu ruim. A freira começou a usar arma, fez pacto, endoidou. Aconteceu tudo de errado com ela.
Eu fui aos poucos mostrando que o Mythos, ele é algo maior e que boa parte da religião católica, né?
Sim.
Muita coisa do Mythos estava inserido nela. Então eu botei uma versão fictícia, né, da Última Ceia, aquele quadro, e num canto lá havia um ser curioso com um manto amarelo e uma máscara pálida em seu rosto, aparecendo no cantinho da pintura. Que foi o que fez a freira pensar, pera aí, a versão lá que a gente viu na internet, isso aqui é uma falsa, né? Daí ela descobriu que aquela, com a figura, com o manto amarelo, era verdadeira.
Sim.
A falsa era o que divulgavam sem ela.
Pois
Então, aos
é.
poucos, essas coisinhas foram colocadas, assim, pra questionar a fé da freira e mostrar que existia alguma coisa muito além do que ela estava acostumada no convento. E também para introduzir, pouco a pouco, os elementos do Mythos.
É. E eu acho legal essa mitologia toda. É bem interessante. Mas aí a gente foi fazendo isso. E aí veio aquela ideia do. Mas e se a gente fizer um canal, né? Vai que. Mas vamos tentar. Aí a gente foi. E aí estamos aí. Faz o quê? 3 anos já?
3 anos, eu
3
acho que
anos.
ano que vem é o 4º ano do canal.
É o
E
4º ano.
curiosamente, o nosso primeiro jogo foi Cult, a Divindade Perdida. O sistema, o primeiro sistema que a
Qual é o
gente.
primeiro que vocês tiveram no canal?
Exatamente.
Foi.
Foi uma one shot narrada só pra Nana,
Uhum.
onde ela era uma pessoa que ela era, se não me engano, uma artista,
Uhum.
né, a Fable Mara, que ela era artista, e ela tinha uma coisa curiosa. A cada, acho que era 4 anos, precisamente no terceiro dia do terceiro mês, às 3 horas da manhã, ela tinha que trocar de algum lugar.
É.
Era literalmente um segredo da família dela, que ela tinha que especificamente fazer isso.
Ela não fazia ideia do
E
porquê, mas ela fazia pra evitar problema.
religiosamente.
Sim.
E chegou um ano que, como toda história, que ela decidiu não obedecer por insistência da pessoa que ela amava, porque o cara a pessoa já tinha se estabilizado, já tinha trabalho, um bom emprego, não queria ter que se mudar nesse momento. Então eles decidiram ficar pra ver o que acontecia. E o resultado, eu posso dizer que não foi tão bom.
Nunca é. Nunca é.
Não. Se você não segue
Nunca.
as instruções, nunca é.
Principalmente
Na
com
vida real
sistemáticas.
já não era. Se você tentar montar um móvel sem seguir instrução, não vai dar certo também. Acontece.
Exatamente. Exatamente.
We have a question, actually, something about your channel that is, one second. Why do you have the green light or the green filter on? Because you have that in all of your streams, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I was actually expecting that question. It comes from the lore of the
Love
Abismo
it.
dos Dados. Abismo dos Dados is a place where it's actually an abyss where you enter another dimension, and we have someone, they call him the alchemist. He's actually telling little stories from fragments of stories, little green tinted gems that he tosses then on the fire. And through the flames, the story unfolds. The green light we use is actually the green flames from the abyss
Hmm.
that actually creates the stories. We're actually on a great fireplace telling these stories of tinted over the flames.
And every story is a fragment of memory, and that's the coin that we use in the points of our channel. And we have these memories unfolding by the fire, and they are at the sea, in the deepest sea, making this green light. And by the art part, green is something mystical and eerie, and we
Yes.
try to study a lot of colors that brings this. And my favorite book and movie ever is The Exorcist.
Okay.
And Exorcist uses a lot of green takes, and the green vomit and green shades. A lot of green, and it's eerie. So we
Yes.
try to bring this to the channel to make something more immersive.
Yeah, I really like how it looks because you also
Yeah.
put that filter with your other
Mhm.
players, and that really gives an identity to your channel.
Yeah, love. Yes, it's a good signature for your channel.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's like we're
Thank you.
all united on the same place, né? Sitting around a fireplace and telling stories. That's kind of the feeling we want to reach with the channel.
You feel connected even if you are online. We
Yes,
have another question. Actually, I think it's from the same person.
Yeah.
He's one of our main viewers for a long time now. Was already taken. Hello, Was. And his question is, what do you think about the role scene in Brazil?
Brazil.
yeah.
It's big. It's great. We have a lot of national RPGs, a lot of content creators. But I think that has something gatekeeping all of this.
There's a lot of gatekeeping involved. There's persons that they think they're entitled to think the RPG is the only one, the better one,
Mm.
and the others they don't exist. And there's also some people who think the RPG is only medieval.
Mm,
There's no
There's
modern, there's no urban, there's no sci-fi RPG. It has to be medieval, or else it loses the RPG essence. But like Nana said, it's a great scene. We have a lot of books. We love a lot of creators. There's a lot of systems coming up. They're original systems, like Muito Abaixo do Oceano.
sim.
o
We have
legado, Orbe de
Legado,
Obrigado.
Libra. A gente tem o Orbe de Libra
de
também, que agora
Libra,
vai pro Kickstart, se eu não estou enganada. Então vai sair do
Mares do
Brasil.
Sertão, that we played. That's actually
Mares do
really
Sertão é
interesting.
fantástico.
It's a RPG game that's played with cards. We don't use dice. We just use cards to make the rolls. It's really interesting, and there's a lot of rhyme involved. It was an Herculean effort for me and Nana to play it. We suck at rhyming. We really
Yeah.
suck at rhyming.
It is hard. It is hard.
And because
Yes, it's
rhyme
really
gives
difficult.
points, and we love points, you know. If it gives points to play and get better, I need that point. So we rhymed a lot, but it wasn't a great rhyme at all. It was sometimes lame for my part, I think.
I did some
But
lame rhymes as well, but it was really interesting. The moments that counted when we achieved that success through
Mhm.
the rhyme. When you actually achieve the success, you have to narrate your success rhyming. So it made everything much more epic, in my opinion.
yeah,
But it
I
was
think so.
really difficult. It was a game that I was always wait. Let me think. Let me think.
Yep.
They need to crank up my brain. Yes, yes. Done. It worked.
But
The cogs in my
the
brain
real
they start
problem
spinning, and then the rhyme comes.
But about the Brazilian scene, I think the real problem is that there's a small group that are great, big, have a big views, and everything went to watch them. Everyone just watch them, and
Yeah.
if you don't do like them, you are not that good.
Yeah.
You know, it has a lot of it here, and if you talk, I want to play that kind of game. It's a smaller game. What's this? But I have this big one here. So it's a troublesome at some point because when someone new came to play and get in contact with these kind of things,
Mhm.
you just think, oh, this is the big one, so there's only it. Only this game, only this content creator, only this reference. So one thing that I try to do is to create the codex of Brazilian RPG that we try to gather a lot of content creators, RPGs, Brazilian ones, and the
Mhm.
translated ones to show to the other players that there's a lot of things to play, to see, to interact. Not the person that has 1,000, 100, and kind of things, viewers. There's a lot of people, and they are really nice to change experience, get some tips, try to play together. Mm, I saw a question here, and I will try to say numbers. Let me try it.
It's a really interesting question because I actually didn't know about RPG Brazilian Brazilian creators. RPG
Mhm.
Brazilian creators.
It's actually because Brazil is the scene is actually self-centered. They don't branch much overseas, and then don't they try not get in contact with many people overseas. We are really self-contained. Brazil
Mhm.
actually only consumes itself.
It's
Mhm.
so is it hard to get like other games, for example, like the I don't know, made in the US, things like that. Is it hard to get those in Brazil?
Yes, they came to Brazil really overpriced sometimes.
Oh,
There are some publishers that they try to make it more accessible,
Mm-hmm.
like New
Yeah.
Order Editora. They try to make the systems come with actually affordable PDFs. PDFs they were actually the saving breath of RPG in Brazil, because the books they came costing like 300 to 200 reais. That's
Uh,
actually
let's
five or
see the
six times the
conversion.
price. I think it's
It's
five times the
expensive.
price they have in dollar. And they are actually taxed as gambling items on our country, which makes them actually
Wow.
double the price.
The
That's a
problem
really weird law.
the problem is we have a lot of taxes uh, to use in the products, but when you try to translate and bring to Portuguese, we have the other problem is that the paper price in Brazil is bought in dollar. So
Ooh.
imagine that the all of paper that we use here to books, magazines, everything like that is in dollar.
It's dollarized. Yep.
So
Even
it
though we
has
Wow.
a lot of
produce the
expenses.
paper that we
Yeah.
use, it's actually country made. They are all taxed in dollar. That's a
Yeah.
really weird
Not cool.
decision. Brazil is a country of very weird decisions and no explanations at all.
But
think
that's uh-huh.
so go ahead.
I think that it's great that I mean, this that you're telling is not great, but the situation makes that there are some Brazilians they want to play and they create their own games. So it has like a silver lining because it pushes people to create things or
Yes.
people like yourselves to try and show others the options that we have as RPGs.
We actually tried to teach some persons the systems. We had the Abyss Adventure Guides, something like é o Guia do Aventureiro do Abismo, and the name in Portuguese. And that's something like that in English, that we try to make compilations, little short series of classes, where we try to teach the persons the basics to start the playing that system without not spoiling that much what they would expect from the book. We do
Okay.
not go one for one through the book, but we explain the basic rules of it.
Yep.
So if that system really captivates your interest, you can also go there, buy it, or start playing and get used to the RPG.
Yeah,
We try to make it
uh-huh.
we try to make it more approachable. If you don't have the money to buy the PDF, but you have the interest to start playing that game, here's the basic stuff. Here's the fast play, basically.
Yeah. I saw a question about how many people there made RPG streams. So there's 114.7 Brazilian RPGs.
Wow.
There's a yeah, and it's just the beginning. We're trying to gather more, and every time we find a lot of things. There is 134 creators, and that's the channels like podcasts, Twitch, YouTube, that kind of stuff, and 51 translated RPGs to Portuguese. It's
That's a
a
lot.
great number. It's
Yes,
a
it
lot.
is.
Even though it's not the actually complete list, we're always trying to update it. It's a community effort.
Oh,
Nana
okay.
started the community. We have a lot of collaborators that we try to stay in touch to add more items. We have forms on Google Docs to people try and put their systems in there, their channels in there.
Oh, that's great. It's a way to keep all of you connected and share with others the options. It's not only like you have your channel and you have your followers, you're trying to make it broader. I think
Yep.
that is amazing.
And
And
I tried to do this because the Wikipedia wasn't that cool. It's
that is
just
true.
talking about 4 persons, and that's all about 5 RPG systems, and that's it. That's only it. How can someone new to the RPG will see this and, oh, that's a lot of things? No, it isn't.
No.
We don't
It
show everybody.
actually has led to some doomsaying within the community. Some people started saying that our Brazilian RPG is dead. The RPG scene in Brazil is dead. It's dying, and we need a great savior to come by and swept us up into greatness.
And if you
And
don't
You
like
are.
someone that are doing one thing and you make some critics about it, it it's something miracle. Someone appears to say, "Oh, you don't support this person. You will ruin the Brazilian RPG scene." We
even
don't
though there's
have
a
a
lot
lot of
more
things.
creators.
Uh, that's a lot of more. You have a lot of things to consume, to see, to play, and that's
Yes.
why I've tried to do this.
That's amazing. An amazing job. A lot of effort. Um,
Yeah.
I guess with what you just said, I guess we already have the answer of this question, but what has been like the hardest part of creating Abismo dos Dados?
Mm.
I think it was trying to fit in the scene. The community, when you are a small streamer, and we still are, we are not big streamers at all, but it's really hard to try to fit into it because there's a lot of pressure put into
Mm-hmm.
someone who just starts the channel. You have really big expectations of what RPG has to be. You basically need to start a movie series. Everyone needs to be dressed in character. You need to have a big studio.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be in character all times. There's need to not be rolling. You can't see the dice. There's no dice included involved in any ways, and it's actually kind of hard to make RPG in Brazil because of that. That the critical role effect, but I don't like to call it that way because in critical role you actually have dice rolling. You have, even
Yeah.
though they dress as characters, you have dice, you have the game. But there's some Brazilians that don't like that. They prefer to consume it into a condensed, more series or movie-like approach. And
Mm-hmm.
finding our own footing in the scene it was really difficult. We're striving to do that until today. There's no magic formula. We're trying to actually just be ourselves, and try to sell ourselves like that. It's it's been really tough doing that.
And, and there's a problem that if you don't have friends in this group, like, oh, I've played a RPG since my, I don't know, 15 years, almost like that. And I have friends, I have contacts, I have a lot of things, and I know a lot of people. When you try to make something new and you don't have these contacts, everybody looks like, hmm, I don't know you. Who are you? It's
Even though
it's weird.
even though your material is actually good, your content is
Yeah.
good, people go like that, just see it and go, I don't know you. You're not friends with X streamer. I shouldn't consume you then. There's a
And,
lot of
and
this
and
kind of elitism involved in Brazil. I think
and
it's
there's also
worldwide. It's
problem.
not.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think it's
we
world.
we faced that before.
Yeah, it's
I think
I
that
guess
there's
it's
a lot of problem about it because there's a about safe place. It's a issue we are trying
Mm-hmm.
to do in Brazil because there's a lot of RPGs from the 90s that they think, "Oh, what's the problem to make this put here some crime, you know?" They try to use crimes and bad things in the game just to, but in this historical moment, it's so common to do this, you know?
Yeah.
And we're trying to fight this. But when someone new came to the stream area or the systems now to publish, everybody thinks this person likes to the historical precision or it's a safe group to support. So with this fear, everything turns so hard because if you don't know anyone, anyone don't know you, and everybody gets some
Mm.
maybe no. So takes a lot of time. That if you have a friend in the RPG that's famous, when you get into, you will have a lot of people to support you because, oh, I know you, you are friend of, or you are parent of, or you are close to, you know. It's
Yeah.
complicated.
Uh, the RPG scene in Brazil is actually complementing that. It's divided on like an archipelago of islands.
Mm-hmm.
There's every island has their public, and it's a streamer,
oh,
and that public really migrates to one island to another. They just stay there. And if you're not invited to that channel, you don't appear on that channel, it's kind of difficult to grow and to make network. Networking is a really difficult part of creating RPG contents in Brazil. But we found a lot of people that were more welcoming, that we could try and play together, that see RPG the same way as we do.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the other place that try to elitize everything.
Yeah, that's true. And what has been like the best part, the part that gives you joy about the process? Because you've been doing this for 3 years. So what's the best part of this?
but there is a positive part, of course.
Yeah.
For my side, I think that's the creative area. I experiment a lot of things.
Hmm.
The overlays were challenging. Try to make the history go through the overlay and reach the public. The overlay needs to say something about that game and make the identity.
Yeah.
So it's challenging. I like it. It's something that I make my brain work, and then, oh, I have an idea. It's so challenging. I like so much about it.
Most of the time I see Nana working on an overlay, I'm asking, "Hey Nana, I'm curious about it." She always goes and says, "Me too. I don't know what I'm doing." And it's like seeing that person that has no idea what she's doing, and then suddenly she has an epiphany, and everything
Sorry, we
just
have
works together
commercials.
and fits perfectly
We
into
have
the theme.
commercials. Sorry. Commercials.
Sorry.
Oh, commercials.
Oh,
Yeah, we try to pause in the commercial so they can hear all the explanation, everything that you're sharing.
sorry.
I
No
think
problem.
we're back. We're back.
We're
We're
back.
we're back. So when I see her, it's actually we see that person that has no idea what she's doing initially, and then everything just fits together, and she has a major view of the story, and everything just turns out perfectly. It's really, really, really good seeing it. Really strange, but really good.
So it's Nana the one that does all the streaming.
The streaming,
Everett.
it's she does the overlays and the art,
Okay.
and the streaming, it's my part and my end. Uh, Notifications, she creates the art. My job's really I put everything up she made, and then I make sure it runs perfectly. And sometimes I also create some of the stories, and I give her some emotional support. I'm trying to find actually how to put my graduation into the channel yet. I graduation on computer science.
Hmm.
I'm trying
Oh.
to learn some full stack, the development,
Okay.
so I can actually develop something for the channel. We have some project it's coming when I can actually feel more confident to implement it the right way, but it's coming. But
It
for
takes
your
time.
question,
It's
it
normal.
takes time. It's not easy to start learning something new.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was focused on some other part that was not web development of programming, and
Hmm.
then migrating to web development, especially full stack development, being kind of challenging for me. But for the streams, what I take joy in is seeing everything we made just coming to life. The story, the overlays, and seeing the chat, the how invested they are in the story, how happy they are to see us playing it. Even though we actually create some polls to decide what route of the story it's going to happen. There's a lot of it involved on our lives, on our live streams.
Hmm.
We actually there's a major happening, and I open up we create a poll, and the chat starts voting what course they want to take.
Oh,
Okay.
that's nice dynamic.
Like I said, the chat on our lives are actually another player. They
Yeah.
decide the fates of our players and which course of the story it's going to take. And it's been really interesting. Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, I had envisioned an ending for our first season, and by the action of the players, they impacted it, and the chat with their choices on the polls impacted the ending
Also
of the
changed.
first. So it changed a lot from when I started making it to
Hmm.
when the first season ended. It was really, really interesting to see that this little exchange we had with the chat. It was really experimental, but it was really interesting. And for me, that is the pleasure I take on streaming.
I think that's another thing that's great is to meet people, because without the channel we couldn't reach it here and reach it, the
Right.
people of our chat. We don't have this exchange, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing to accomplish.
Yes. It's when you meet people and they actually share the same interests as you have, and they all have their own stories to tell and their own visions of it to tell, it's a really good part of being a streamer. You
That
don't
is
get
true.
it. You don't get it anywhere else.
That
Nope.
is true. You mentioned it a little bit. I don't know if you don't want to get like deeper into the matter, but what other things are you working on? Do you have like a project coming or another maybe another game that you're going to add to your lives?
Well, we're actually working on another campaign that we are going
Mm-hmm.
to release it next year.
Okay.
We have a Call of Cthulhu one coming. It was supposed to be this year, but then everything happens. It was a shit show, and we couldn't actually release it in this year. But we're trying to make it for next year. And I think for games, what we have, the major games will still be Vampire the Masquerade. There's some things I want
Mm-hmm.
to actually keep trying on it. I'm vying to actually create a live setting, a live city,
Okay.
one that feels organic, one that the players can go to somewhere and they'll see real people going there. A lot of NPCs that gives me a lot of work.
Especially if Nana wants to adopt all of them.
Eventually
Oh
she
my
will.
god! I Ash Ketchum. You know, I like the Pikachus and the Charmanders that are in your game fonts. I can't help it. I
If
can't.
it's not her who starts throwing Pokeballs, it's actually the other player, John. He started going to a route that I couldn't even start to imagine it. He was his character is a Bruja. He was
Mm-hmm.
a former Crusader from the I think 1030s, I guess. I think it was the time where he was embraced. He went into torpor. He didn't live the most of his age, so he's basically a neophyte. He was actually used for the Vatican as a weapon of sorts.
Okay.
They made him hungry, and then they just let him loose on the villages they want to remove of the way.
Ooh.
And he went there, created chaos, and became the Vatican little lapdog. So now in New York, he's trying to experience this freedom. His humanity has been restored. He's finally human again. He can speak, even though the times were really, really, really different from him when he was a human. And now he starts talking with the mob for no reason. I guess he's trying to pacify the gang leaders and the great mobs, and having a crime family on their side and not being as criminal as before could be a good thing for him and for the city. But it's the type of exchange that I didn't really imagine, and creates a course that's a route that's really interesting for the campaign as well.
Sounds very good.
Yeah.
Do you have a campaign planned, Nana?
Um, actually, I'm running a text
That's
campaign, Vampire 2 and Cult.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
two
running
two campaigns.
2.
Oh.
Yep. Right now, I make a solo from Dejon, another player of ours.
Mm-hmm.
He is a Yakuza girl that was embraced by La Sombra.
Oh.
She,
Okay.
yeah, she was. Oh, I have power and I have contacts and more power. Yes. So she was embraced. Fonts also played this game, and there was another 2 players that already I've rented their solos. And the cult was an experience that I'm trying to make that's more co-narrative. The
Okay.
player tells me about what the character is feeling and thinking, and
Mm-hmm.
I use this in the scene.
Oh.
So
Okay.
if the player says, "Oh, I'm hungry and I can't stop thinking about burgers," so from out of blue, she is in a restaurant eating.
Oh.
It's chaotic because it's about a dream realm. So she's
Okay.
trapped in a dream. Oh, I hope she's not here right now. Please, if you
She's
are
telling the
here,
whole plot twist of everything.
yeah, but I think she's not because she's not here. So it's about dreaming, and she sees a person mysterious, and this person starts to stalking her because she's a OnlyFans creator content.
Mm-hmm.
So
Content creator.
he's content creator. I'm using Portuguese with it.
It's
She
okay.
goes back and
Sorry.
forth.
It's okay, no problem.
So she starts to being stalking about this guy, and this guy became obsessed and trying to reach in her through a forum.
Sure.
And all the game is about a forum that talks about dreaming, magic, and other supernatural stuff. And she's really, oh, let me see what these guys are dreaming about. That's weird. And then, bah, something happened to her. And when she looks at the forum, there's a guy telling everything that happened in her dream. So it's about what she's thinking all the time. So when
Wow.
she says, "Ah, I made some photo shooting and I'm a little horny," like this kind of stuff. So she went to that kind of realm. Oh,
Okay.
I'm angry. So I'm tired. I have to sleep. I'm overwhelmed. She drops sleeping in the dream and go to other place and see other things and see herself. And in this kind of stuff, she's discovering about a family secret and about herself too. So it's
Oh,
weird again. I made weird things that maybe aren't work at all, but I tried to make some different
it
kind
sounds
of
very
things.
interesting.
Yeah.
This one you're playing it. It's written, right? Like in
Yep,
a with messages.
Discord.
It's
Oh,
text based.
okay.
It's text based.
And is that
We
something that people can see or is private just with her?
no. If people want to come to our Discord server, there is a chat there, so you can read and see all the
Okay,
crazy stuff.
that's very interesting. I do
I
want to read
You
that
too,
one.
if you want to read, drop by.
You're all welcome. I
Perfect.
also need to do an advertisement here. If any
Yes,
of
of
you is
course.
interested on what Nana creates, she created one shot for Wraith the Oblivion
Hmm.
that's really, really, really experimental. It's called
Yeah.
Sirens of the Oblivion, Sirenes do Esquecimento. It's published. It's on Drive-Thru
That's
RPGs.
perfect. Yep.
Drive-Thru RPG. It's
Okay.
for free. You can actually get it. If you don't know Wraith the Oblivion and you want to create a really starting point for your players or for your campaign and start getting more familiar with the setting, Sirenes do Esquecimento is a really good place to start.
It's
It's
in Portuguese or
Yep. There is an
Both.
English and Portuguese. Portuguese
oh,
are free
Perfect.
because we think that Brazilians it's hard to get some material, so
Hmm.
we put it on free. But in English, it's acho que $5, $10, something like that.
I
okay.
think it's $5,
I
but
don't
it's
know.
actually super accessible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it
Yeah,
is
actually.
actually. And you are going to again my next question.
Mm.
How can we support you guys? Not also not only your channel in Twitch, also in other media that you use
For
or
me,
these
yeah.
examples. How can we support your project?
You guys
We
can reach
have
us at YouTube, Twitch. We have some games at Spotify, but we are not doing a lot of stuff there because
Hmm.
our games are pretty big,
a
so it's
pretty long
complicated.
and editing
Yeah.
Yeah.
a 5 hour long session
But
to
but
podcast is
we have
stuff.
a podcast called Neof Talks, like Neofto is Portuguese for neonates, and so it's a podcast about new vampires teaching and interviewing other vampires to learn about their clans and abilities and their place in the dark world. So
And
that has Spotify, if I'm not.
Spotify. We have that in Anchor, actually.
Yep. Yep.
And we
YouTube.
try to stay as far as we can with the stereotypes. You won't
Okay.
find the fisheye Malk, you don't find the Nosferatu that's all creepy, and you won't find the Tremere that's all magic and stuff.
Yep.
We try to show that vampires are people before they
Mhm.
embrace, and they stay
That's true.
people. The person who was a school janitor, after he was embraced by a ventral, he will not start becoming Jeff Bezos suddenly.
Yeah.
He will still
Yeah.
be a janitor, albeit a supernatural
We
janitor.
Of
we
course.
have TikTok, Twitter,
Oh,
Instagram, Facebook. We have a lot of things, but TikTok's more for using to tell us about past sessions about our vampires.
Okay.
Um,
Like
So
shorts of the
it,
session.
of the yeah,
yeah,
like a
it,
resume or something like
it's
yeah.
yes, kind of that. We have our t-shirts in a store called Forge Online, but I
our
think that's
merch.
expensive to buy overseas. But from Brazil, it's pretty okay. And we have our Padrim, that's crowdfunding site to
Kind of
help.
a Patreon, Brazilian
Yeah,
Patreon.
it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
patron. It's the same meaning. Same meaning. Padrim, it's for patron.
Okay.
It's kind of same thing, but it's in the Brazilian real, so it's more affordable.
All right.
And we actually, when someone supports us through Padrim,
Mm-hmm.
we actually give some campaign seats for them to actually start incorporating on their games or using to start their journey through GMing. I know it's kind of difficult when you start GMing, you have all those rules and you don't have any ideas where you can apply those rules. So
Yeah.
those adventure seeds are for that. And we actually have some other bonuses. If I don't remember, Nana made a planner. It's
Yep.
a calendar, an agenda
Oh,
that has art made by her. The thematic
Ooh.
is cats. It's
yeah.
really, really,
Mm.
really pretty and sometimes creepy because cats are
Okay.
both.
True.
Yeah.
All right. So we are actually getting almost to the end of the program. So we want to give you this space to tell us whatever you want to say, invite the viewers that we have to, well, your projects that you already mentioned, or anything else that you would like to mention. This is completely your space.
Okay, you want to start, Font?
Well, I'm not really good at this, but let's try it.
Don't be
So
shy.
I am. I try
No,
not
A
to be,
no.
but
game
I am.
master cannot be shy.
He's a lot of shy.
That's my first failure and the most grievous one. But it's like you liked what we said here. You actually liked how we talk. You found us charismatic. So we are all invited to come talk to us in Abismo dos Dados. We have a Discord. We are really approachable. We may not speak Spanish that well, but
We
as you can
try.
see, we can
They
At
speak
try.
least I
English.
try.
We try. We try, and we can speak English, and sometimes we can speak a horrendous amalgamation of Portuguese and Spanish. And we hope that's not too offensive, but it's horrendous, but we try. Um, I think that's it. If you actually allow me, we have a link tree with all our social network links
Oh,
and everything we just talked here. I was actually to ask for your permission to post it on the chat.
yes, of course.
Our string master already put your
Ah,
link
Thank
tree
you.
in the
Thank you,
chat.
Streammaster.
So yeah,
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you.
I
was
was just fetching the link here. Thank you.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's it. You can find us on all those links. And that's also a link to the Codex of Brazilian RPG, the project we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're curious and want to consume some Brazilian RPGs,
Yes.
then you can find all of them there. Some including are free. You can have on a platform, a Brazilian platform called Dungeonist, that you
Okay.
can download them for free. You can try them. You can see them.
And I like to say that, guys, really support South American content creators and
Yes.
RPGs. The world don't see us as we deserve. It's the
True.
basic thing. We need more space, we need more respect, we need more voice, but we know that's not how the world works, but we can try to do our part and support each other's. Make a gang, try to indicate the content creator, try to say, oh, look this product, try to play it, try to watch it, and those kind of stuff.
I would stretch what you said of South America to Latin America as well.
Yep.
It's really difficult to our Latin Americans to be treated on the same ground
Yeah.
as other content creators, and we really need the support.
Sure.
You, the viewer, is the one who's helping us the most you can, and we are all thankful for that. But
Yes. Yes.
we
Yes.
need to help each other. I think
We
that's
need.
a really valid thing
And
to ask.
I want to thank you so much for the place, for the
For the
talk,
opportunity,
for the patience,
for
because
the
my English
patience.
sucks. My English
No,
really sucks.
No, it's actually good.
it's
You're
pretty.
perfectly understandable, no?
And the most important part is that we can understand each other. Even
Yeah.
if with pauses, mixing languages, we are making the role seem bigger and we are connecting to other countries and other people. That's the important part. And actually, we want to thank you for participating with us.
Yes.
We have a small way, symbolic way to to show the appreciation we have for people that agree to come to an interview with us. I'm not sure if it's on the screen yet or not, but our viewers will be able to see the small gift that I am going to send you soon. Once we are done with this, I'll send it to you. It is created by our designer Forhador. He's the one that does the overlay, actually the part that Nana does. That's Forhador, and he created that. And well, it's under the name of Abismo dos Dados. Elma
Thank
is
you so
Just
much.
Thank
appeared
sorry.
here for me. It's really cute. I appreciate it a lot. Did you see it, Nana? It's a small scroll that's really beautiful.
It's
Thank you.
it's
Yeah, we
I'm
hope this space works for you and for
yeah,
your project. Actually, we have it's really interesting because we have a people from Argentina, from Mexico, for different parts of Mexico. So I really happy with this participation, with this. Sorry, I forgot the word.
I
That
got it.
we are sharing
We
our
got it. We
your
got it.
experiences, and more people knows about your project. So I'm really happy with this collaboration. That's the word.
I'm really actually happy for this interview because it's a really good experience to branch out, to see that every country they have their own community,
yeah.
that RPGs are not dead. They are alive and really well. They are not on life support like some doomsayers say. They're alive and thriving, and it's really, really, really important for us to have this experience to actually have this really, really awesome conversation with you. You are excellent hosts, and it was
Thank
really, really nice to meet you.
Thank you.
It was a
Actually,
pleasure.
speaking of collaborations, before I forget, I'm sorry, I forgot. This viewer that is always with us, he has this um, question that he always sends.
yeah.
When can we have a game between Ampersand and Abismo dos Dados? Ideally, I guess would be in English, but that's just so we can start thinking about it. Maybe we can have a one shot, something like that, a game
One
together.
shot would be awesome. I
It
think
would really
it's
be
really
interesting. It was not the first time that me and Nana talk about, hey, let's play or stream something in English. It would be really interesting.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Really
a
interesting.
challenge, a big challenge.
It
I'm
is.
really into this idea. I love it.
It's a great
Perfect.
practice for English, and it was actually a really good opportunity to actually play with you.
Perfect. So
So
I'll
We
send
can
you a
always
message.
play in English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
Yes, we can make the
Why
mixture.
not?
we can try and make both 50-50. I start narrating my action in English and I end it in Portuguese.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting. I think it's a good idea. So let's talk about that. And well, again, thank you so much for coming, Mara.
Thanks, guys. I have a great time with you. You are. I agree with Chad. You are a very charismatic person. So thanks for your time. Thanks for sharing this space with my partner and me. And hopefully we have more collaborations with you because you are making a great job. So thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
It
much.
was our pleasure all the time. Thank you, and thank you.
And thanks for all the people who are still with us in the streaming. We appreciate a lot your time
And
too.
patience.
Yeah, and your patience. So thanks to all of our viewers. We hope this help the guys and us for our respective projects. So thanks to all of our viewers. So please, Fobo, can you close our this space, please?
Yes, of course. Eu desejo que seus chakras sejam sempre críticos.